Defense. What if the Cowboys' first pick in the draft is offensive line?
Ugh.
How excited would y'all be for that?
I would not be.
Let's talk about it here in Below the Belt, which is sponsored by D&M Leasing and Window Nation. The reason why everybody feels like right
Unless
now.
you told me that Panay Sewell is dropping to us.
Well, see, there is. There's a good tackle who will probably be there, but I don't know if he's Panay Sewell. The reason why everybody feels like the Cowboys need defense is because of the defensive failings that ultimately led to the firing of Matt Eberflus. So the Cowboys are in search of a new defensive coordinator. Todd Archer had the report yesterday, which, by the way, I did go back and look at it because I'd asked this at the end of Crosstalk yesterday. There had only been one interview scheduled across the entire league for a coordinator position as of yesterday, and it was for
and you pointed that out in Crosstalk, which made me apologize to Jerry and Steven because the dominoes had not started falling. Everyone's waiting for their head coaching news to come out.
So it was Patrick Graham as the defensive coordinator interview in Washington was the only one, which Dallas would not have been interested in him. I believe by the time these were put in yesterday, the Cowboys did end up being like the first defensive coordinator requests that were made across the NFL. So they were ahead of it looks like. Archer said that the Cowboys have requested permission to speak with three different individuals: Minnesota defensive pass game coordinator Durante Jones, Denver assistant head coach pass game coordinator Jim Leonard, and Browns safeties coach Ephraim Banda for their defensive coordinator vacancy. They did also request for Jeff Ulbrich from the Falcons. They were declined on that. I kind of wonder, even if they weren't intending on bringing back Ulbrich, would they block him anyway? Because Arthur Blank still hates Jerry Jones, it feels like. And
Arthur has beef?
Oh, yeah, they were the ones who fought really bad over Goodell getting his extension. On the Cowboys DC search, Todd Archer says that the Cowboys said they would cast a wide net. The names learned today will not be the final list of coaches that they talk to for the job. So the Cowboys are kind of opening this up a little bit and trying to identify some people. Now, these three names, we've talked about Jim Leonard a lot. I think it's relevant to note that Connor Orr from Sports Illustrated, every year he does a list of the top NFL head coaching candidates for the future. So not the people for this cycle, but for the future. And then behind that he goes, and here's some other people that are on track to be coordinators eventually. All three of these guys that they got interviews with yesterday were on Connor Orr's list a couple weeks ago as future names that will progress in the NFL. On Jim Leonard, he calls him a likely replacement for Vance Joseph if Joseph receives a head coaching job. Leonard is a former NFL defensive back known for his involvement in game planning, even as a player. Leonard served as the interim head coach for Wisconsin in 2022. And then you had on Durante Jones, who's been on this list for a couple years now. He said Jones is 47 years old, one of a handful of coaches on Brian Flores' Viking staff who are in line for defensive coordinator consideration. He has experience at the high school, college, and professional levels and coordinated a defense under Ed Orgeron. And then the final one, Ephraim Banda. He says Banda, the former Utah State defensive coordinator, has been under Jim Schwartz in Cleveland for the last 2 years, or 3 years. Banda was on the interview list for Shane Steichen this past offseason for defensive coordinator before the Colts eventually went with Lou Anarumo. So a couple different guys who look like this is the track that they're supposed to be taking, legitimate candidates, it looks like. Now, everybody at this point kind of feels like, I think I'm this place, I think you guys are this way, I think the fans are all this way. Your draft capital, any serious draft capital you have, should probably be used on defense.
Yes.
I mean, if it's there, right? If it's there.
Considering they need everything on defense, they're like, it's not as narrow as like, you need a linebacker, let's use it on a line. Like,
my BPA is being sacrificed if it's like 1 or 2 spots or maybe 3 spots.
I have no problem with that.
It's got to be a really big gap for me to go BPA over team need.
Look, you know me, I'm a need guy anyway, because I don't think that
you are.
Yeah, because
he's needy.
They're all the same.
They're all the same. Yeah, it doesn't matter. Like I don't think that these guys are any good at what they do anyway. I don't, so like they don't know.
Take that stack.
Yeah, they don't know what's better and what's not. But I will say this, and because you brought up offensive line, it is by far the highest hit position in the first round. Not even close. 70% of first-round offensive linemen average 10-plus starts per year their rookie year. The only quarterback is the only other position above 50% from the first round or second round, I should say, both of those. Nobody else. Then you got DB 49%, all the way down to running back at 39%. So, like, that's It's safe. It's definitely safe.
So this was one of the more fascinating things that came out of the press conference to me. And I know you highlighted it yesterday, Sean, was the way Shoddy talked about Tyler Smith.
Oh. And I think this is Schottenheimer, to me, most unlikable moment by far. And I usually
did you not view it as, and I get what you're saying, but like, was there any part of you that also, or could potentially interpret it as like, well, this is just him like laying down the law of like, this is what it is, guys.
Yeah, I get that. I mentioned that yesterday, and I also think fans will eat this up. I thought this was insensitive to the business, and I don't want Tyler Smith to get taken advantage of, even though it will end up costing the Cowboys more money if they haven't played tackle, because Tyler Smith, by all accounts, is a dream kid, and I don't want them to take advantage of him. I just didn't like the way Brian came off.
Yeah, no, I agreed with you.
You gonna play it?
Yeah, we're going to play it right now. So this was Wednesday when Brian Schottenheimer was asked about Tyler Smith looking for clarity about what position he'd be playing.
But at the end of the day, you're such a good player that at the end of the day, we have to play the 5 best guys. And in no way, shape, or form do I think that we can't, with a full year of Guyton and Nate Thomas and those guys and getting those guys going. But Sis wants some direction. I said, right now you're a guard. But at the end of the day, we're going to do what's best for the Dallas Cowboys winning a Super Bowl. And that, just like we did the last 3 games, if we got to move you to tackle, we will. And excuse me. What I love about that is Tyler and I were able to have that conversation. He's like, makes perfect sense. I understand.
Okay. Well, as long as you're fine with having a contract negotiation and types of delays, and be fair to him and tell him, and don't screw him over right before training camp and say you got to play left tackle after you train for a guard, and all that comes with that, different size and everything. This is the pros. This isn't you're going to just play that spot. This isn't switching from X to Y to Z at receiver. All right, this is I just got paid as a left guard, and it's a different price and tax bracket at left tackle. So no, you're not just going to make me the left tackle, and that's fine. Maybe behind the scenes they had that conversation. Nick Eamon has said there may be clauses in it. I've heard other people say no, that cannot be done in an NFL contract. So I don't know which one is right now. I heard Jesse Holley, he's like, no, that's not possible to be done in a contract. I tend to, go with our boy Nick, but just don't come across and be like, no, you're going to play left tackle at guard money. That ticks me off, and usually that's an RJ take over the business side of things.
Yeah, it's
pay the guy that comes with it. And again, let me qualify and say maybe that's all understood behind the scenes already. But this ain't pee-wee football where no, you're going to do what we tell you to do, because many other people around here have rejected that. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Oh, they have. There's
on that offensive line.
We see this in baseball. They'll move the right fielder to center field.
This was 3 off seasons in a row with Michael Young. Him going, I don't want to do it. And they went, tough, go.
Yeah, they'll move shortstop to second base to shortstop, and obviously shortstop is thought of as a more important position than second base. Center field, more important position than right field, and they've moved guys. It happens, that's you're doing what's best for the team. It's a tough tug of war because the fans don't care.
Oh no, they love what Shoddy just said.
They absolutely love it.
And they love hearing, well, Tyler just said fine. Totally fine. I'm okay with it.
Right. So maybe there is something behind the sines. We have no idea. This is one thing, though, because
I guarantee I get destroyed on the fan text for this, but it rubbed me the wrong way. And I don't want Tyler Smith to get taken advantage of.
If this came up in his negotiations, even if it didn't get negotiated in there, but it just came up like, hey, am I going to play tackle at any point, or is that y'all's plans? Like that, and I'm sure that conversation would come up. I'd be really surprised if they told him in those negotiations, well, the only thing we're ever going to be able to give you is just an answer from moment to moment, because we could literally change it at any second.
Yeah.
I wouldn't imagine it was positioned that way. But the fact that
when do they have to tell him what he's playing for next season?
I would think now at the start of his offseason workout.
Ask Manyweather. When do you absolutely have to know, and what goes along with the training differences?
If there is a difference in training, off-season training,
there has to be,
I would think
a difference in size.
And a difference in size, he needs to know yesterday.
He's got to be leaner. He's got to be lighter, doesn't he?
He'd probably have to drop a little bit of weight, become a little bit more toned.
So don't screw me over and flip-flop me back and forth on a whim. Well, maybe not. Maybe I don't want to keep going about it because I love Schottenheimer, but it just irritated me.
Well, let's just assume he is playing left guard and that is what he's going to be doing, and Shotty means that, and that there's not going to be a change. If that's the case that he's playing left guard, there are 5 potential outcomes now to the Cowboys' offensive line and how this will play out. Number 1, Terrence Steele is returning. That this means that the planned 2025 O-line that they'd gone in with, that they were injured a lot of the year, they're going to run that back in 2026. I still think that's probably the best and most practical solution for them because of just the resources that they... I know a lot of people go, what do you mean? Terrence Steele sucked. The resources that you have and the holes that you have, I don't know that you can afford to create more. Just in the name of, like, I don't like him very much. You're going to have to get by there in a lot of ways. And I do think it's been oversold how bad he was. So if he isn't back, that's just one outcome. If he's not back, these are the only other ways that this could impact the Cowboys' offensive line. They plan to start Nathan Thomas and Guyton at the tackles, which you heard Shotty mention, Thomas and Guyton. They were a lot of growing pains for Nathan Thomas this year. And I think projecting him to grow, even if you think one day he can become a starter, projecting starter growth in one offseason is a really bold call for a team that wants to win right now. The other one, they're planning on drafting a tackle in the first round. So they've had success with first-round offensive linemen. But again, your resources you need on defense. It's really tough to swallow the idea that you come away with one defensive player in the first 3 rounds of the draft after they were that bad. Next one. They're signing
buy everyone in free agency.
They are signing one of these 3 players, and they've already made up their mind on it. Braden Smith, the right tackle from the Colts, or Kelvin Beachum and Jonah Williams, the 2 right tackles from the Cardinals. Because you would not commit to Tyler Smith at guard and cutting a veteran starter like Steele unless you're absolutely well-versed on who you believe you're getting in free agency, know how they fit, don't have any questions about them, and have the relationships that you can have back-channel discussions to know how open they would be to them. Those are 3 offensive linemen that Clayton Adams has worked with extensively. And then the last option, they've got a trade target at tackle. This would seem to be the most unlikely one because teams are so busy this time of year with so many other things going on that they don't generally have time to hey, let's talk about a trade we can't do for 6 weeks. So I think that the 2 most likely options here, the best one is to just run it back and don't cut Steele, I don't think. $8 million is not worth creating another hole. But if they do, I then wonder if they are looking at Braden Smith or spending at right tackle in free agents.